What's up, beautiful souls? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Mamina. You can call me Mina for short. We're going to get into the energy of your divine masculine, your divine counterpart. Now, you can be a feminine that identifies as a masculine, or you could be dating a feminine that identifies as a masculine. The body is the container, but the energies are what they are, and they're not restricted to a certain basic human characteristic or mannerism, okay? So with that being said, take what resonates to you for your person and leave what doesn't. This is a collective reading and I pick up on a lot of energies. Of course, if any archetypes or anything like that come through, as always, I will touch on them should I be moved and told to touch on them by the divine. So we're going to get into the tarot a bit first to see what's going on with you and your person. I just kind of feel like some of you guys drawn to this one. You're together, or at the very least, you're talking to your counterpart, but there's something wrong with communication, and you've probably just been waiting for some type of confirmation as to what it is, what's going on. I'm not picking up at the moment anyone who's dealing with a karmic partner currently, but you might have had a masculine that was dealing with a karmic partner. He could just be coming out of that. He or she could just be coming out of that. I'm gonna say he because that's just easier for me, divine masculine energy. But yeah, they could be coming out of a situation, or they might have been out of one for a while, but there's bad habits, that they may have adopted from that. Because I'm sensing that you're dealing with masculines that they don't really know how to express their feelings as far as love is concerned. Like it's easy to say I love you. That's easy. But as far as to sit down and have like really heartfelt conversations about vulnerability and all that stuff, they're not the best in that area. Some of you are dealing with a masculine that's reasonable in that area, but they have a hard time understanding your emotions. And this could be because some of you divine feminists that I'm picking up here, you have a tendency of dropping hints, or maybe in a very light way describing something that's bothering you. So for example, like when a guy says, oh, if you ask your girl what's wrong and she says it's nothing, it's something, like that's kind of your vibe. Like you might sometimes just stare at them like you should just know why I'm mad, and they don't know why you're mad. Like they haven't the faintest idea. And even if they did, even if they had an idea of what argument or action could have triggered it, they don't quite know why it's affecting you the way it is. And that's because you need to be blunt with these masculines. I feel like you guys are dealing with the type of partner that just needs you to get to the point. And you may have points, okay? Like that's an understandable thing. You may have multiple points, but they just need you to say, okay, it's A, B, C. And it was because of dot dot dot, and then give them space to reply to that, right? Like don't just, and then another thing, like rapid fire, because at some point they're lost. I'm picking up that someone deals with a masculine when they get frustrated, they either stutter, or because it's like my tongue feels weird. This is their energy. It's almost like the back of their tongue kind of like gets stuck or swells. It's a physical feeling, but it happens when they're really frustrated. And this could have been something from childhood. They might have stuttered when they were younger. And so it really ticks them off when they get like that. Another masculine here is not so much as stutters, like they stumble on words. And you may misread that. Like when it happens, you might be thinking, oh, they're just stumbling on words because they're trying to get their story straight, or they don't know what to say because they know they were wrong and blah, blah, blah. And that's not it. It's just that so many emotions are overwhelming them at once that they can't get a clear thought through, right? If you're the divine masculine energy watching, then that's a huge confirmation for you, because you would know if you do that or not. If they've dealt with this issue younger, they may have kind of mentioned it in passing, or you might have noticed it and you're wondering if it's something they've dealt with for a while because they haven't said anything. And lastly, I'm picking up on a masculine that it's like his train of thought just stops when he's overwhelmed, like just blank canvas, doesn't know what's going on. So whatever you said, after his brain goes on a pause, yeah, he didn't know. Like he didn't hear past the pause in his head. Again, I'm sensing these are just mannerisms they've learned. So for some of them it's a defense mechanism. It's like how they, You know, some people shut down, right? And I feel like the one who pauses his brain, that's his way of shutting down, or their way of shutting down, rather, is to just sort of like zone out. It's not that they don't love you, it's not that they don't care, but this is a trait they've picked up from somewhere. And when you take so long to tell them what's bothering you, it becomes a bigger issue. And so then by the time you want to talk about it, it's like a collective of things versus just the main thing that was, was wrong. It's like now it's several different things, and they can't handle all of that at once. Someone's family and friends, again, here we are with this like energy of people having like family or friends getting in the way of these connections, right? Like, I feel like the thoughts, they care too much about what family and friends think. Let's hop into the first masculine energy that I'm picking up here, because I do feel like we have King of Swords. You're dealing with a very smart masculine. They're very intellectual. They're very, you know what it is here? When it comes to mental clarity on something that they can designate through, or that they're already disciplined in, they can accomplish it hands down. But when it comes to something that involves more feelings, like expressing feelings, or as you talk and you're saying, I felt like you disregarded me because you did XYZ, it's not registering to them. Like, if it's not making logical sense to them. I'm sensing someone, of course, we get this sometimes in the collectives. There's somebody who's more spiritual than the other person. I don't believe this masculine lacks spirituality. They may not understand it right now or be as into it as you are. So, for example, if you go like, oh, I saw a reading today, they're like, okay. But they're not really completely there with you. I feel like the arguments that you guys have been having are due to their mannerisms that they learned from somewhere. This masculine might have had a hard upbringing as far as how the family dynamic is. You know, a hard upbringing doesn't have to always mean that a person like grew up on the streets or anything, but it can mean that they grew up in a house where they felt like there was a lot of pressure on them. This disciplined energy is really heavy. It's like, yeah, they're damn good at being disciplined, but it has a heaviness to it. It almost feels like they want to rebel against that discipline kind of demeanor that they have, but it's so well trained, so well taught. So this could have been somebody when they were younger, like their mother might have been like, you got to get all straight A's because only perfection is allowed here. Their father could have been overbearing and etc. Somebody might have had parents that separated, but each parent, unfortunately, this sometimes happens when, people go through divorces. If they were already like hard asses when they were together, it becomes a challenge afterwards. Like, which one of us can take credit for our kid being the brightest? And so all of the animosity that they can't take out on each other anymore, they take out on the child in a way by making them do, well, I'm the reason that this person is so good at sports, or I'm the reason that they're good at business, and da da da. You get where I'm going with it. You know if this is your masculine's issue or not. But this is just what's channeling in for this King of Swords energy. This is a very stable person, but when it comes to emotions, they're unstable. They're not very balanced in that energy. And I always tell you guys, the King of Swords and the King of Cups are two sides of the same coin. They really are the same person in many aspects, meaning in order to really be balanced in your mind, you do at some point have to know how to have some level of control with your emotions. And in order to have control of your emotions, you must have clarity on what those emotions are. What tends to happen is sometimes these type of masculines lean too much in one energy over the other. So this is somebody that needs to come out of their shell and express when they feel frustrated, without it being them being snappy, or without it being them just kind of like, and for lack of a better term, like kind of taking it out on you. Because I'm not seeing somebody that's verbally abusive. Just y'all were having like a good time, and then all of a sudden they just got trippy for no reason. You could be dealing with a Libra, Gemini, or Aquarius. This is an air sign energy. However, as I always say, it's not just about if it's in their chart. If it is, it helps to explain things even more. But it's the vibration of the reading, which means that energy, that zodiac is at play here somewhere energetically. So, Libras need things in balance. This is a person that when things are not in balance and they feel unstable, they don't know how to act. They don't know how to communicate that because, again, this pressure of being perfect. I feel like they care a little too much about how other people feel, especially about your relationship. It's, they'll be quick to get mad if somebody kind of down talks you, but then at the same time, they do care about the overall look on the outside of the relationship. Like, y'all might argue at home, but don't argue in public. Like, you get what I'm saying? This is somebody that might be used sometimes to things going their way in past relationships. And with you, you present a challenge, which in some ways they love, because again, they do want to break out of this mold that they're in, but it's just really hard. It's really hard. So you want to be very direct when you're talking to this person, have compassion, but you do want to be direct in what you're feeling. You don't want to let things bottle up and then just kind of throw it at them, because it's going to get lost in the sauce, first of all. And this is someone who deals in logic a little bit more. Again, some of these masculines are spiritual, but it's like sometimes you deal with people who feel like they have to see to believe everything. This can be overwhelming for them too. So when you're talking about spirituality, you want to ease them into certain things. You don't want to come off as if you're just sort of been, bombarding them with it, because then they feel kind of, again, overwhelmed. And they have a lot of other things going on energetically. And don't take anything they say as far as, because again, I'm not picking up anybody verbally abusive, but I am picking up someone that can be like irritable, snappy when they're frustrated. Don't take what they say to you personally. You ain't got to tolerate it, but there's a way to show a person, and a way to tell a person how to respect you. And it's not just with actions, it's with how you word it to them, right? You don't want to come off aggressive. Sometimes that might actually snap this person back in line, because you're not being aggressive about what you're saying, but you're still getting your point across. Again, I'm picking up this like duality energy. Gemini, your person could be Gemini. It could be in their chart. It might be their Venus. You could be dealing with someone whose Venus is in Gemini. That's just channeling in. But when they get like that, when they get irritable, it's like two different people, right? It's like the good twin, bad twin, right? Again, understanding that energy can help you navigate it a bit more when you're trying to communicate. These can also be your signs. So even if your person is something different and this is your energy, you might find that when they are getting snappy with you, that's how you reply. You're the person that doesn't feel stable when unbalanced, or you're the person who, feels like you're about to snap, and it's Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde kind of energy, right? But when you're made aware, once you're made aware of something, you learn how to navigate it. I feel like this masculine feels stuck in a certain behavior pattern, and that's what's messing up here. That Aquarius energy, sometimes Aquarius have these feelings of, especially if they've been wronged in the past, or wrong even in the current, there's this need to know why, even if the why won't suffice anything. Sometimes some things aren't certain people's fault, right? I feel like this person probably takes the blame for a lot of things in their upbringing, or takes the blame for when stuff isn't done in a very structured way. It's like somehow it's all their fault. That's what they feel inside anyway. So verbally, they may say, you're getting on my nerves, or this person did wrong. But inside, they kind of feel, why were you stupid enough to trust such and such with doing ga, 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 ga. See what I mean? I'm going to try and rush past this masculine, because we do have another masculine to get into. I keep also picking up on this Seven of Swords energy. So at some point, those of you who resonate with this masculine, again, there are multiple energies here, you might have had some type of betrayal in the past, or you might have thought that their behavior, due to their, how they can tend to get irritable and whatnot, you might have thought that they were doing something sneaky. So take what resonates with you. This could have either been a past issue, or it's what you feel like is going on because of how their mood swings are, right? Especially considering the King of Swords can sometimes be cold. They're not the best at revealing feelings. So when you do express to them, hey, I feel like you're neglecting my feelings, or you're not paying attention, or blah, 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 they might take it as whining sometimes. But I'm sensing this energy of like stuck. What's this energy of stuck? Confirm this energy. What's happening here with this masculine? Yeah, we have Eight of Swords. They feel like their hands are tied on something. And again, I'm picking up that family energy. It's like, or just status. There's something with status here, or how people view them. At the end of the day, it's like they care too much about if people think that they're perfect, or that the relationship is perfect, or that they're especially if something, again, you might be dealing with a masculine who dealt with a karmic or some type of karmic pattern in the past, and that's what they need to learn from. Whatever made the relationships, not that those relationships in the past were really, gonna go all the way. They were always lessons, but I just feel like they didn't realize they were repeating a certain pattern in their past relationships. They were repeating a certain energy. They probably just thought, oh, me and the person didn't work because they were crazy or da da da. And it might have been, but there was also something that either they were allowing or they were perpetuating. I feel like this person might have sometimes questioned if they were good enough for you because of this, because of their past mistakes or their past relationships. They might have at sometimes dumped the burden from past relationships on you. There's a lot channeling in at once. So hopefully this is all making sense for you guys. Like, I'm trying to keep up. I'm gonna try to slow the energies down here, but yeah, some of you might have dealt with some type of betrayal in the past, or your person has. They've dealt with that. So they guard their emotions a little differently. And at the same time, there's something that makes them question if they're good enough for you. This adds to their feeling when they're getting irritable or snappy. You might have been noticing this, especially if some of you are just dealing with a masculine that's been seeming kind of down. This King of Swords here, this divine masculine, needs to tap more into like the King of Cups energy, expression, mastering of their feelings. But yeah, they definitely feel like when they're in conflict with you, especially, it makes them feel like they're climbing an impossible mountain. I'm hearing Usher's, it's like moving mountains, why you just leave me be alone. It's like whatever conflict y'all might have had in the past that was a big blow up, because you could be coming back, together after something like that. It was like that song. They resonate with that song. It's like moving mountains. It's hard to get you to understand them. It's hard to understand you. But that's because the both of you sometimes are kind of talking at each other. It's heavily on their side, but it can at times happen. Like divine feminines, you always got to be honest about your own responses and reactions in situations. They want to fix this, though. For those of you dealing with that type of energy, they do want to fix this. Let's get into their silent thoughts. What are they thinking about? What are they thinking about? And then we're going to hop into the tarot again to pick up on the next energy. What are they thinking about? Yeah. Friends and family opinions are getting in the way. Boom. Confirmation of that. Again, it's like caring too much. It's like, bro, why are you caring so much about what friends and family are saying? You might have noticed this. This could be a huge sign for you. You might have noticed that a lot of times it's coming off that way. I'm ready to be the man that you need. So in their thoughts, they're saying to themselves, I'm ready to try. I'm ready to fix my issues. But they have a hard time expressing that out loud to you. But they are thinking about it. It is on their mind. Let's get into some more personal messages. These can be things that they've said to you, and maybe you were wondering if they were being serious. These could be things they may say to you, but it's definitely something they want to. Their thoughts are their thoughts. They could want to tell you, could not want to tell you. But right now we're going to tap into what they want to say, what these masculines want to say. Oh, that's too many cards. No. 2 apiece. I'm not used to a connection like this, so I ran. So in the past, or when it comes to arguments, again, I'm feeling like some of you might be in union, but you're dealing with a masculine that when they get frustrated, they kind of shut down, or they stumble on their words, and it makes them just go, you know what, I don't want to deal with this, and they walk off. That feels like running to them, and it probably feels like running to you. And if you've dealt with a situation in the past of some type of betrayal or hurt, that's what they were doing even then. They were running. Right? They were running away from this connection. It was too much. When they get overwhelmed and something becomes too much, it's harder to handle. And I don't know, look at this. I don't know how to express my love to you, so I keep it inside. Yeah, this is a masculine that needs like a lot of heart chakra healing. Let's get back into the tarot. And let's see what comes with this. Let's see if this other energy I'm picking up on is this masculine or someone else, because there's a lot of diversity here with these energies. That's why I didn't do this as a pick a card, which is what I was originally gonna do. But I just felt like these two energies or multiple energies I'm picking up on could cross each other in a sense. Like, it would be way too many. Make sure you check out the other reading of blah blah blah. We have King of Coins, grounded, dependable. So some of you may see this as another side of your masculine if you resonate with this group, because I do feel like when it comes to work, that is a grounded person, a stable person. However, this King of Coins feels also like a complete different person. So you may resonate with the King of Coins a little bit more. This person, now they're grounded, but they're used to things going their way. Got a lot of love for you, shower you with gifts and all that jazz. Like, they're not emotionally detached, at least not completely. What I mean by that is, you could be dealing with a masculine that it's easy to say I love you, it's easy to show you in gifts, but sometimes when they get stubborn, they kind of forget to take you into account. Or when they're planning certain things, they're used to being the provider. That is, I am picking that up. For some of them, they want to be a provider. So what's holding them back on taking the relationship to the next level is they want to be a provider. But for those of you dealing with a person that's already there, they can provide, you might be living together or they want to. Sometimes it feels like they're jumping the gun in the plans, and they haven't really incorporated you in the plans. And this comes from them being used to doing that. Like, they're just used to being the person that everyone depends on. So they're used to just having to have certain things done. It's not as intense as the discipline with the King of Swords, where it's almost like ironclad and there's no way in. But it is just, it's like you have to remind them, like, hey babe, I'm supposed to be a part of the decision making. If we're picking a house, or if we're doing this or doing that, it's not supposed to just be all you, because we're creating a home for each other. It's like they need that reminder, right? But they don't need you to scream it at them or be extra about it. They just need, again, that same energy as with the King of Swords. Be direct. Say A, B, C. Give them a chance to respond. Then move on to the next phases. Where can you compromise? What can't you budge on? It's all about, I feel like this masculine is similar to the King in the sense of Swords, in the sense that when they feel ungrounded, unstable, it makes them kind of like, I'm really picking this energy of like, can't sit still. So it's not that they really get an attitude, but it's like they can't sit still. They got to move. Their brain's constantly going. This feels like the masculine that when they overthink, they just pause. The brain goes on pause. This could be a Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus. I am picking up practicality. So Virgo could be in their chart, or again, it's the vibration of the reading. There's this like liking to be practical about things. And when something doesn't go according to that, that practical plan, and they're kind of just thrown off. They don't know what to do. You know what I mean? Now they're kind of overthinking and trying to grind to figure out how to get things back on track. This could create sometimes this feeling of, you're not focused on me, because I'm hearing this song channels in sometimes for y'all crazy. Hers focus, baby, can you focus on me? It's not that they don't want to, they're just overwhelmed. So what helps this masculine is reminding them, hey buddy, you're not the only one that's meant to make decisions. It's okay to share in the decision making, but also it's the considerable thing to, to do. We're in a relationship, or we're trying to be. It shouldn't just be all you or all me. We should be figuring this out together. However, I will say this as well, feminine. It's a two-way street when it comes to who may sometimes need to take the lead. Some of you, I feel like you'll be perfectly fine with that. With others, you two have your own stubborn way. You could be these earth signs, or you may resonate with the energy of that stubbornness that comes with like the Taurus, or sometimes that passive aggressive that can come with Capricorn. For some reason, whenever Capricorn channels in, there's this slight passive aggressive energy that comes along with it. But at the end of the day, there are going to be things that, whether it's because they just know a little bit more or they're more capable at the time, they're going to have to take that lead. And then there are times when you're the more capable person and you're going to have to take the lead. It's just a simple, nice little trade-off. Taking the lead isn't to dictate to anybody. Taking the lead isn't trying to control or manipulate anyone. I feel like sometimes when this masculine kind of takes the reins, you might sometimes feel like they're being controlling. Not because they're overbearing with it per se, but just because it's like, well, you didn't even ask me if I wanted to drive the chariot. Maybe I wanted to drive, you know what I mean? And it turns into something else. Calm down, breathe it out, and pay attention to the cues when this person starts to feel a bit overwhelmed. Okay, we're gonna get, but I do feel like this person loves you a lot. I feel like this person's working on their skill of communication. They want to communicate better in the connection because they've kind of noticed it. This King of Coins has noticed that sometimes they can be a little, a little kind of like not really taking you in consideration the way they should, or asking your opinion the way they should. But they're working on it. I also feel like, again, some of you are dealing with a masculine that wants to be a provider, so that's why the relationship hasn't developed to the next stage, whatever that next stage is for you. It could be moving in together, could be marriage. It just hasn't went there because they have this like idea plan in their mind of how it's supposed to go, right? You might need to let them know, I see the hard work that you're doing. I appreciate it. We can work on ourselves while still making sure that we're communicating with each other and talking. You don't have to like go off for days on end, like working your fingers to the bone and not communicating with me. We have 8 of Coins. 8 and 8. Somebody could, 88. Hey, to the 88 babes, what's up? Somebody could be born in 88, or you might want to look up the angel numbers for 8 and 8. I'm also picking up 7 strongly, and we did, I did sense that energy of like 7 of Swords with the King of Swords earlier. So the number 7 could be very crucial here as well. But this 8 and 8 is definitely standing out to me. Definitely confirmation of Virgo energy. And again, that person that's like, they're dedicated to you and they're trying to learn the craft of communication, and the other person's trying to learn a new skill that can help them propel in this relationship. I feel like some of you in this King of Coins connection, it's like you didn't really have a dating period per se, meaning, when people think dates, they think going out, asking a person out and going out, because I'm actually seeing Jay Shetty and his wife in my mind right now, in my mind's eye. And he was talking about how they met through all these other people first. And when they started first hanging around each other, it wasn't even to date. It was just, hanging around. But they got to see each other in their like natural habitat, so to speak, like how they take care of family, how they communicate with their friends, how caring and loving they are. There was no facade. I feel like when it comes to this King of Coins, it might make you irritable now how they can sometimes take the reins and not really give you input. But if you think back, they've always done this because they're used to taking care of a lot of people. So they've always just done things, right? It's not because they're trying to control you. It's just that communication, like you need to talk. And you guys both need to be able to comprehend. You can't communicate without comprehension. And you can't comprehend without properly communicating, right? So you want to be balanced in that. Tell them how you feel without it being from a place of frustration, and allow them space to talk. And that'll help you guys. And then just do little things each day. Take it one day at a time. Do little things each day that kind of helps move things out. Let's get into your person's silent thoughts. Let's get into their silent thoughts for this King of Coins energy. I feel like they believe you're their perfect match. What's this? King of Coins. Whoop, too many cards. We have You're My Dream Come True. We're going to reshuffle the others because there were way too many, but that one was faced up. You're My Dream Come True. Yeah, they feel like you're their perfect match. If they're the King of Pentacles, you're the Queen of Pentacles. You make sense. This the King of Pentacles or Coins is also like the Emperor of the Minor. So somebody who's used to being grounded and having having an authority and being a provider, being the perfect father figure, husband figure, and etc. And they feel like you would make the perfect wife, perfect mother. Divine feminine. Look, okay, you still trying to give me too many cards. Look at this. I'm finally doing well financially. What was I just saying? I'm not taking all these other cards from this. I got another deck to do, masculines. Y'all gotta stick to the program. Gotta stick to it. I talk to the masculine energy directly. For those of you who are my regulars, y'all know that. I said too. That's what I meant. I only take extras if it's like the energy makes it like, no, you have to take these. Like it's coming from the divine or their guardians or mine. Then I'll go, okay. Otherwise, I'm just like, nah, y'all sticking to the to the rule we have. I've thought about living together. Look at that. Thought about living together. Why? Because they're doing better financially. That was the thing holding them back. So here's their thoughts, right? They think that you're, the best thing that's ever happened to them. They're starting to notice their finances are getting better, and now they want to communicate to you, hey, we talked about living together, or, had the idea of taking the next level of our relationship. I'm getting close to being ready to do that. They may have not said anything yet because they want to make sure things are just ironclad. But I feel like for most of you guys had that conversation. It's happened. We're going to get one more card. One more card from this King of Pentacles, King of Coins. Ooh. Almost had a flipper. Okay. Still shooting like a whole army of cards at me, bro. We have, I've thought about spending time. I've thought about you spending time with my family. For some of you, that's the next phase. You guys might have been knowing each other, but perhaps they haven't really taken you to meet the family yet, or at least not all of them. Right, bottom of the deck for the tarot, we have the Justice card. I feel like that's confirmation that not only is this these unions, because I'm gonna read them for the whole set. It's definitely a confirmation of these unions being in balance or needing to be in balance. So it's about taking the time to communicate so that balance can come in, being fair with each other. Don't judge them too much, and make sure that you're not allowing them to judge you too much, right? And then, look at that. Well, I could still take it for how y'all masculines feel about y'all, because the Queen of Coins, the Queen of Pentacles, is like, she's the baby empress, right? This is how your masculines view you. You are their one true love. And my darlings, that took a minute to get through. I feel like your masculines are going through huge transformations and shifts right now. So try not to be, again, don't take certain things personal. Some things are not doing to be personal. And of course, do what's best for you. Never, what you tolerate is what you get. So be mindful of how you tolerate certain bad traits that they have to work on. You don't have to attack them about it, but don't just tolerate it, because once you tolerate it, you end up stuck in it, right? That was your readings, my love. Peace, love, and light.